They'll be coming over to Europe next month to play some live dates, and their second single on Hut Records, My Aquarium, will also be out around that time. Now, before we close this evening's show, just a reminder, of course, we will be here again next week, 9 o'clock Central European Time, where I'll be joined by Mudhoney. They'll be coming to the studio for a bit of chat, some conversation, and some videos as well. And also, the most requested band I think we've ever had here, apart from The Cure, on the show, that is Throw That Beat Into the Garbage Can. The postcards are still arriving. Well, for all those people who have been sending very interesting postcards, just to let you know that they will also be on next week's show, talking in performance and also some videos. That's also actually be recorded in Berlin for us, so we can find out what all the fuss is all about. Right now, though, we're actually closed with a look at Sugar. Now, Hüsker, of course, are one of the most influential bands of the past decade, along with the likes of Sonic Youth and also Black Flag and the Meat Puppets. They actually were really the alternative scene in the United States of America. Numerous bands, of course, claim to have been heavily influenced, without a doubt, by Hüsker. Bob Mould, of course, went solo towards the end of the decade. He's now back in a three-piece, and the critics are going ecstatic. They're called Sugar. Here they are. Bye-bye.
Sitting around one morning, club owner down in Athens said, well, like third day of rehearsal comes over, well, you know, I really think it'd be really good if you guys could play a gig. We're like, okay. Well, what are you going to call yourselves? We're like, I don't know, we'll let you know tomorrow. So we just sort of tossed a name out in the morning. So, yeah, Sugar. It's pretty stupid. That'll work. I think the thing that's really funny about the name is it makes for good bylines. You know, Sugar Buzz, how sweet it is. You know,
rock candy.
Just like, it's really great because now it seems like they've all caught on to the joke and they all try to one up each other in the press. So it's good.
So the journalists are happy then.
Yeah, they love it. It's easy for them. It's, you know, it's better than soup.
Yeah.
You know what do you? Yeah. Well, with Hüsker do with WEA, they didn't know what to do. I mean, there was no such thing as alternative. There, you know, there's probably, you know, no precedent for how to promote a record like you know, the two that they had from that band. Ditto for Virgin with my solo records. They didn't know who the audience was. They didn't understand how to promote it. I don't even think they wanted to release them.
Right.
They just escaped somehow. Through the end of 1990, you know, did the two solo records and worked with a touring band that dissolved at the end of 90. February of 91, started up doing what I thought would be a handful of acoustic solo gigs, which turned into 10.5 months of solo acoustic gigs. And it was about October of 91 that I started thinking about, I'd like to make another record, and I think I'd like to have a band. The two ideas were exclusive until after the first hour of rehearsal in February, and then it became one notion, a unified idea.
I'd never met before until we walked in the practice space for the first day.
Okay.
And once pleasantries were exchanged, we just banged out about an hour's worth of music, and then we were a band.
Right.
That's about the size of it.
I was playing with a band called the Concussion Ensemble.
Right.
4 drummers, 2 guitar players, bass, all instrumental.
Right.
And, you know, it was something that I could extricate myself from and
Right.
get serious, you know.
I knew both Malcolm and David individually since about 1988, and brought these two guys together and thought that the chemistry would be good. When we got together in February of this year, it turned out to be the right thing. It's much more fun to work with your friends as opposed to impeccable musicians. Not that any of us are slouches, but the criteria for putting a band together this time was friends first. It's good that Malcolm plays drums and David plays bass and I play guitar. I mean, it was a convenient coincidence, but yeah, it's much more natural. I think it makes it feel more like a band, and it's evolving like one as well. I think it's becoming a democracy or an equal partnership on its own terms as opposed to a forced democracy. It's the least personal record I've made in a long time, which I think may lend it to being perceived as more optimistic. I think the dark moments on this record, a song like The Slim is probably the darkest thing I've ever written. On the other hand, things like A Good Idea and Slick, which might seem to be sort of macabre tales, I find very amusing. Hoover Dam, If I Can't Change Your Mind, are like some of the lightest moments in my writing ever. And then there's the other things, the other songs, which are pretty much what you'd expect. We just write so much stuff, it's not, it's a matter of whether the record companies can keep up with us or not, so.
You weren't interested at all in perhaps another major record label coming at you?
Oh, they were coming at me, but it's, again, they come at you and it's like it's like the big money incorporated. Here, we'll give you all this money. But if you don't sell 800,000 records right away, you're going to have to do what we tell you. Yeah. I'm 31. I've been doing this since I was 17. I'm not a fool anymore.